Place the jacks at near the corners and connection points. The rule is to pick up the frame within 3 feet of the connector. Never pick up the tent from the middle of any eave tube. Put the sling around the perimeter of the eave tube, maxi tube style, and operate the winch until the slack is taken up on all jacks. Working as a team, crank the jacks to raise the tent side evenly. Lift until you are above leg height, then install the leg with the base plate already attached to the eave fitting and pin immediately with a 3/8 bail pin. Also, install the leg to rafter brace at this time, pinning it into the desired location. Now, lower the tent slowly. Reverse the jack cranks until the whole weight of the tent is on its legs. The final lifting process is from the opposite side. Place the jacks at the corners and evenly distribute them along the long side in the same way as you did on the other side. Attach the slings and remove the slacks by cranking all jacks. Then, working as a team, crank the jacks to lift the tent up until the legs slip on. Immediately pin the legs and install the leg to rafter brace. By reversing the jack, set the tent on its legs. Gable end legs are 6 inches shorter than the regular legs with 3 holes drilled at the bottom. This leg requires an 18-inch or taller base plate and will allow for adjustments to fit the terrain once the leg is installed. You typically do not need to use a jack to install this leg. Install the gable end legs at the end of the tent, starting with the leg inside of the tent and at a slight angle. Push up and out until the leg slips onto the connector. Bolt or pin in a typical manner. Adjust the base plate for the terrain and pin with 3/8 bail pin. With the legs installed, we now need to anchor the tent with tent stakes. On a 40-foot tent, 2 long tent stakes, each 1 inch in diameter by 42 inches long, are ideal for each base plate when staked in a lawn. Anchoring properly is necessary for safe tent installation. Outguys are highly recommended and necessary if you are to meet full wind loads of a building code. Refer to the industry tent staking guides. If there is any question about how to safely anchor your tent, refer to the guide. Throw the 2 pole ropes over the top of the frame, being careful not to hit someone on the crew with the carabiners at the end of the ropes. Connect the carabiner on the pole rope to the large O-ring of the catenary tops or to the large webbing loop connected to the keter web at the corners of the fabric panels. Now, connect the smaller return rope to one of the rings or loops on the top. In the center of the panel, loop the eave strap of the leading edge of the top over the buckle to prevent it from catching on something while it is being pulled over the tent. With 2 people working as a team, they will pull on the ropes from the outside of the frame at the opposite side of the tent from the fabric. 1 or 2 others will insert the fabric keter edges into the top rails of the keter track in the maxi tube 2 rafter and will guide the fabric into the frame. The use of the keter feeders will enable easier and more efficient fabric insertions by aligning the keter in the tops with the keter track in the rafter. They can also help prevent tearing the fabric tops that can occur at the end of the rafter. Working slowly and pulling evenly, the crew on the ropes needs to pull the fabric panels up over the top and down the other side. If the fabric catches, immediately stop pulling and back it up by pulling back in the other direction. Check all keter tracks and connectors to be sure they are open, clear, and lined up. Then pull again. Stop pulling when the keter bullets are lined up with the end of the keter track rafter. Be sure to connect the eave straps to the eave tube at each side of the roof panel to hold the fabric in place until they are tightened in later steps. Remove the pull ropes and the return rope from the top that was just installed. Move the return to the next open bay. Attach the pull ropes to the return rope and pull on the return rope, drawing the pull ropes back over the top of the tent to be used for the next roof panel. Then, the use of the return rope in this manner prevents a crew from needing to throw the rope back over the top in every bay, wasting time and effort, especially on larger tents or tents with tall legs. Continue along the tent installing tops using the same procedure. Make sure to attach the eave straps on each roof panel. The tops in maxi tube frames work exceedingly well because of their design. The top tension that is applied directly to the Keter web edge of the roof panel seals the roof into the rafter track. Once all tops or 2 adjoining tops have been installed, it is time to tension the top using the ratchet straps. Begin the tensioning process on the eave line where the end section and the first midsection meet on one side of the tent. Connect the sling strap, which is tethered to the top of the ratchet strap, through the O-ring of one top and then through the O-ring of the top next to it. The ends of the sling strap are then connected to the carabiner. The sling strap should look like a triangle pointing to the ground. The other end of the ratchet strap needs to connect to the hitch rail of the base plate as shown. Using the ratchet, tighten the tops until the Keter is just beginning to show outside of the Keter rafter. The Keter on both sides of the top panel should be fairly even. If not, it will be necessary to pull the tops into position, loosening and retightening the eave straps as needed to hold them into place until the top is tightened into position. Repeat this procedure on the opposite side, then in each of the other midsections until the tops are evenly tensioned. Next, move to the end leg and pull the corners of the gable end panel through the end leg and connect the O-rings to the other end panel O-ring, making a triangle with a webbing loop at the top with the ratchet strap as before. Tighten the strap with the ratchets. In the center of the 40-foot gable, it is also necessary to use a roof tension strap to connect the center of the 2 gable end panels to the leg. The goal is to get all the tops on square and firmly to provide an even tension at all points. The eave strap in the middle of each section are then firmed up for final tightness. The next step, if needed for your event, is to add sidewall and other accessories such as Olympic tent doors to complete the installation. Now that you have spent all that hard work assembling the tent, it's time to take it down. The first thing you want to do is remove all the sidewall and doors and pack them up as needed. Then remove the top panels. Unbuckle all the belts and check all the pins and clips to be sure they won't cut or snag the top panels. Always remove the top panels by pulling on through, traveling in the same direction as when installed. Using drop cloths, pull out one panel at a time, reefing it into a long ribbon of fabric about 4 feet in width. Roll the fabric up from one end to the other end and bag them. Complete all sections using bags marked for the appropriate sizes. Tip number 1. Always rebuckle the buckle straps on the trailing edge on the top panel. This will greatly reduce the chance of the buckles getting caught on the ridge rafter or roof cables as the tops are being removed. Tip number 2. Always use ground covers when removing top panels. This will prevent the tops from becoming soiled during the removal process. Tip number 3. Pulling gently but firmly will lay the top down in a manageable fashion. If it is pulled too hard, it will fall quickly off the frame and prevent you from getting a nice, smooth, even fold. Once the gable end panels slide out of the frame, lay them together as a pair or roll or fold in a manner that allows for easy reuse. Put them into bags marked gable ends. Prepare to lower the frame using the tent jacks. Inspect the tent carefully and make sure no pins are falling out or are missing. Placing the jacks about 1 or 2 feet away from the frame, follow the installing procedures in reverse. Lower the frame one side at a time. When raising the first side, be sure to lift the tent high enough to remove the gable end legs. Start disassembly of the roof frame at one end and proceed to the other. This concludes the instructional video. If you have any other questions in regard to the proper assembly procedures for your tent, please refer to the installation manual provided with the product or call Olympic Tent directly at 800-481-4128. Please stay tuned for a couple other important messages. Olympic Tent is not responsible for damages that occur in shipment, weather-related damage, damage caused by incorrect use of the product, damage resulting from not using proper ground cloths, nor damage resulting from the use of a washing machine. The customer is responsible for immediately inspecting the merchandise and noting any damage directly with UPS. UPS will then pick up for the inspection. Do not destroy or throw away shipping containers or merchandise. If UPS determines merchandise was damaged in shipment, they will contact shipper to settle the claim. It is important that you also notify shipper manufacturer of any shipment damage. Credit will be issued as soon as the claim is settled. Olympic Tent is not responsible for products damaged or lost in transit. The customer, that's you, is responsible for noting any damages or shortages when the freight company delivers. Ownership of the shipment passes to the customer once it is loaded on the truck. The customer must initiate the claim with the freight company and note the damage/shortages on the freight bill so the customer can protect their rights of claim. Concealed damage must be discovered within 10 days and the claims made with the freight carrier. It is your responsibility to count and open all products immediately. When you sign the freight bill of lading without noting damage or shortage, you have accepted the shipment as it is complete.